Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. This is Accounting Nightmare. Just loading up the game. Welcome Tag, welcome American, and thanks for the host. Welcome Lauren. You don't know how long you'll be able to watch? That's fine, American. No worries. Okay, hang on. Just do a little sync check. How is everyone today? So hopefully we can finish off case 3 today. Just making sure the stream is working on my phone. This is what I do now, just to do a sync check. You never know with these things. Come on, hurry up, phone. Ah, that looks good. Q. Okay. You always seem to doze when you watch because it's soothing. Ah, thanks, American. I'll take that as a compliment. Very good. Alright, so this case. We're up to the... I think this is the final court day. It's probably going to have multiple segments though, because each day seems to be a lot longer in this game. Okay, so I suppose we'll go over what's happened as soon as we get access to the court record. December 30th, 9:41 AM. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Court record. Okay, so we're defending Max, a magician who works at a circus. We have to deal with all kinds of circus characters. He's accused of killing the ringmaster, Russell Berry. And a witness saw him at the scene, and the witness saw him fly away. Well, several people have seen him fly away from the scene, apparently, which is strange, to say the least. There's all sorts of people involved, but the main ones we're worried about at the moment is Acro and Bat. 2 acrobats, they're brothers. One of them is in a coma after an accident involving a lion. And this is his brother, who seems to have something against Regina, who was the trainer of the lion. So there's some kind of grudge going on there. We don't know how that relates to the murder of Russell Berry, though. Yeah, well, there's a ton of stuff here, but let's make sense of it today in court. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Who's this gonna be? Teehee. Is it gonna be Pearl? Teehee? Oh no, it's Regina. Okay. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! How fabulous! My sweetie pie! My sweetie pie princess! You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realise what's going on. Or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today, I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Different how? Top of the morning to ya. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo? Top of the morning to you, governor. What? Top of the morning? That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. What is... Here, Max. I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my... Thanks. So how are you today, right? Well, I've got a feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. Are they doing this again? Where we have to be careful what we press? What are you going to do then, Mick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. Alright, but it's gonna be tough. Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. Do you want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. Okay, that's... Is there anything wrong with thinking people become stars? None of us... Yeah. 10 AM, courtroom number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honour. Defence is ready, Your Honour. Very well. Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. We were just talking about this. Yeah, exactly, Lauren. Exactly. Yeah, like he's trying to force his belief of the afterlife onto her, which I don't think is right. Like, none of us actually know what happens after we die, so... Yeah. Anyway. Drink some water. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present, if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene, on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Aw. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. There are birds in the courtroom again. If he had said he wants her to live a less sheltered life, I would agree. Yeah, same here. Yeah. Name and occupation? Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Very Big Circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. It was just after 10 PM, and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then, a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. Is it a tongue twister? A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination. It was just after 10 PM, and I was resting in my bed. Okay, hang on, so they warned me about pressing him, but they haven't said anything in the trial, so can I just press him, or...? We'll find out. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct. But there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Haha, sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Ow! The witness will proceed with his testimony. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed. That is correct. But you were still able to hear a sound from outside? I was indeed. Pressing acro doesn't seem to get results. But maybe something was contradictory in what he said just now. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honour. Until I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. Then, a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince words with Mr. Phoenix Wright. Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as if we were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. I wonder if Acro's statement jives with the facts. Oh, okay, we're gonna have to... What happens if I... No, I'll go nothing wrong for now. I'm guessing you take a penalty if you push further on the wrong thing. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. Maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony? Well, he says he saw the hat, but the hat was left at the scene. I'm gonna come back to this one, I think. Keep pressing things, I don't get more dialogue. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. When did you start thinking that what you saw wasn't a dream? That's not important. I believe that the prosecution has done a bit of maintenance on the witness's memory. Just to make sure, let's ask the witness. Ow! Objection. Sustained. Don't sustain that. Acro must be lying about what he saw, right? Of course he is. Now the challenge will be to expose his lies in court. Well, put the pedal to the metal, Nick. Alright, so I think the one I want is that one. I'll try one of these other ones, see what happens. Contradiction! There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? Of course. A badge. This. What in the world is this? Ow! You just don't get it, do you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? What don't I get? You're not going to be able to get through this one with your usual bluff routine. Your client looks to be ready to take off once again. Straight towards a guilty verdict. You were bluffing? I will not forgive any more mockeries made of this court. Whoops. Witness, would you mind repeating your testimony? Certainly. But it didn't actually lose health for that. Interesting. Now, I'm guessing I'll just go for this. Contradiction! Huge contradiction. Prove it with evidence. So I'll try presenting the hat. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found at the scene. That's the Ringmaster's hat, right? Wait, what? Ringmaster's hat? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has two silk hats? No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model, made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Fibbing. Fibbing is such a silly word, isn't it? And I bet he'll definitely get in trouble for lying on stand. Definitely. Order. Order. As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth, and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What will cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Oh, hey, Magnolia. Good to see ya. Acro was dreaming. He was asleep. Fibbing and ad-libbing. It's obvious that what Acro saw, he didn't actually see at all, because it was a dream. So you plan on writing off all the inconvenient facts as nothing but dreams? Maybe you should just pinch your cheeks and see if you are actually awake. Oh, I think you'll wet-proof this isn't a dream just fine. Mr. Wright, how about you provide an answer that actually explains things? I think Acro is the real culprit. I'll try he has a grudge against Max. Perhaps it is because Acro has a grudge against the defendant, which is why he's trying to frame Max. Oh, frame me? What'd I do? Never get your fat head in the way of a whip bent on finding justice. Mr. Phoenix Wright, I have no interest in your silly little theories. He has a grudge against the defendant, huh? Wouldn't happen to have proof of that. Well, that's the thing. Mr. Wright, thanks to you, I've got my head lashed by Miss Von Karma's whip. I don't like getting hit for nothing, so how about you answer with an explanation? Poor judge. Your Honour, on this occasion, the defence accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honour. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honour, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He's staying rather calm and collected. He's sicked his bird on us. Why does a lady have a whip in a court? Why not? Why wouldn't she have a whip? It's an anime alternate reality. Yeah. Whipped by Von Karma, Nick's fault. Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defence's accusation? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things... See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Phoenix has a poopy head. See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defence is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defence now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? He said poopy pants. Harsh words. Yeah. Well, the actual answer is he didn't, I think. I'll try he did. It's impossible for Acro to be the murderer in this case. If that's the case, then it's natural for one to consider possible accomplices. You don't say. Not good, not good. This isn't going to end well. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off easy. What? You must not have heard that sound just now. Maybe it wasn't clear enough. The sound of you falling into your own trap can be hard to notice sometimes. Mr. Wright, it seems as if you won't be stopping at Acro, but will be making other accusations. If Acro did not have an accomplice, things are not looking good for you. I understand, Your Honour. Very well, let's continue. Who, perchance, would happen to be Acro's accomplice? Oh, okay. I can... So I think actually I'll get to point out the monkey. The monkey, yeah. The monkey would have helped. You don't say. Uh-oh. This is suddenly looking very, very bad. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off easy. What? Oh, hang on, what? The sound of you getting caught in your own trap. What a splendid accomplice. I'm sure this accusation is built on a solid foundation. Foundation? Yes, Mr. Wright. Do you have any proof that this person you've accused was indeed an accomplice? Wow, okay, this is actually pretty complicated. I don't think we do. I actually don't remember what the right answer here is. Because this is a bit too... Yeah, this is a bit too involved to be a wrong path, I think. Proof. So maybe we're saying Regina was accidentally an accomplice? Because she put this note on the board? Is that what we're going to go for, maybe? That's all I can think of at the moment. I was thinking maybe the monkey could have helped him do stuff, but, you know. I don't see any proof that would help that. This is a heavy box. How would he have got it there on his own? I don't actually remember. I'll just see what the wrong dialogue is. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? This piece of evidence is lacking in persuasive power. You didn't miss that sound, did you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? What sound is it now, Von Karma? You know, the sound of you receiving a penalty. Oh, very, very clever. Sorry, her burns just aren't as good as Edgeworth's. You have a bad shoulder? Oh, sorry to hear that, Tag. Ah. What are you doing, Nick? What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? I'll try saying no and see what happens there. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? Hey, Alyosha, welcome. You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. But order! Order! What are you getting at? Aw, thank you for the bits, Alyosha. Thank you very much. 500 bits, thank you. Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? He was in the cafeteria! It was right here. What? That location is completely unrelated to the crime. But I suppose if you said he was in his room, he wouldn't have been able to commit. Oh! Miss Von Karma, stop it! You will be quiet and refrain from striking people. Wow, it's taken him this long to tell her to stop. No worries, Alyosha. Thanks for dropping in. I haven't seen Southern yet. Not tonight, anyways. The witness could not have possibly left the lodging house on his own. Not to mention what Mr. Phoenix Wright just said. There was no accomplice, remember? Yeah, you're right. You think I could get another chance? Wait just 1 minute. Don't forget about my proverbial whip as well. What happens if we point him at the scene? Oh, where is the scene of the crime, actually? I'm guessing it's around here. What happens if we point him being at the scene of the crime? There's no way he was anywhere but exactly right here. In the plaza? He was at the scene of the crime itself? You're right, though. The murderer would have had to have met the victim. Oh, this one, Karma, stop it. Okay, same dialogue as before. Those are small enough penalties that I don't really care to reload. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room? Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said that when he saw Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? My phone. Yeah. Steve's asking me a question. Just answering him quickly. I'll just be a moment. Sorry, he's in the grocery store buying stuff, so I'll have to answer him now. Hey, Sneejin. Yeah, hopefully we can finish this case today. On the last set of court things. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it. Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Hey, Panicking, welcome. I got no evidence, I don't know. I think we will finally be graced with an explanation. Don't push it, Von Karma. What? You aren't going to suck me in this time. I'm smart enough to know. when I don't have the cards to play and my hand sucks right now. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? He means that everything he's said up until now has all been nonsense. It's true, right? If you can't establish proof of your murder theory, then it's nonsense. He's trying to fool us by playing some misdirection game. Looks like this isn't going to pass muster. Nick, you've got to show them some evidence. Easier said than done. So what will it be, Mr. Wright? I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry? He used my badge. I think you should try again, especially before someone gets the chance to say something. Yeah, you're probably right. So as I was saying, this piece of evidence... Stop! Wait, I say! Before you start over, you must be penalised! Oh, he caught me. And if you don't put an end to this funny business, I've got a few more ideas. Funny business. Alright, so... we're going to say he used the bus, but we haven't found the bus, but I assume we can use the picture? What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-sized, it is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ah! Well, he's not happy. See? This is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well... Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. You can't run away. Ah! I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has its right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. That woman will sink to any low to win a case. Hey, buddy cat, how are ya? Aw, little mama wants pets. Aw. Wish my cat wanted pets. She's not even in here at the moment, she's a snob. Acro's physical state. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, but only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regard to this witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let it get to me. I've got to focus. Considering how often a witness turns out to be the real murderer, every single person that gets called to court should have a defence attorney. That's a good point, Sneechin. And then all the defence attorneys need defence attorneys as well. Save the game. There's something I was going to say, but I've forgotten it now. Probably wasn't important. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. Have you ever lifted up the bust before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands. But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Wait, what? Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bust before? Please continue with your testimony, Mr. Dingling. That was a nice little thing of him to let slip, wasn't it? That's right, the thing I was going to say is I'm impressed that that earlier on there was a whole false path with like we had to point out an accomplice and then point out proof of them being an accomplice. I think when I first played this game I got stuck there for a while because I thought I actually had to find an accomplice. That was very sneaky of the game. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. So what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or the tightrope. You don't say. But, no offence, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I wouldn't lose either, Slowpoke. I mean, Nick. Whoa. How did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden? I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. Could you, though? However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bust out of the window. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation, but it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not be able to see out below the window. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Oh, that one. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. Do you accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window? Thus, there is no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick? Huh? What if you turn things around? Maybe if you think of it sort of like this? If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust. That does make sense. If only I could prove somehow. Maya being helpful. Maya's great. That's a Yogi Bear reference? Wait, what is... I missed it. That Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. Thus it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. However, there is no way that I could land a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Akram is strong enough to lift up the bust. The main problem is how he could have aimed for the ringmaster's head. I wonder if he used some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster. That's the ticket, Nick. Show them what you've got. No worries, Magnolia. Maya, having read 2 pages of a law book, is a better lawyer than Phoenix. Yeah. she read the table of contents and some of the introduction. I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. I don't remember us finding any sort of tool, but maybe we overlooked something. Location of the ringmaster. Save first. Yeah, he knew where to aim, because the bust was heat-seeking. Because he left the box there to be investigated. Oh, stronger than your average bear was the Yogi reference. Oh, yep. I totally missed that. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I might add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over? The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Just gonna drink some water. Okay. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean... If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. No! Yeah, that's quite a plan, because if he mistimed it, or if he aimed for the wrong side of the box or something, then it... yeah. Order! This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. And there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Oh! Allow me to whip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Oh, no. The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. I think the weight is what we're looking for. But we'll check out the other ones too. The box was a remarkable size. Size? Exactly. I think you can tell from the picture that the wooden box was very large. To lift it up, one would have been required to squat. Meaning that one would have had to have taken it up in both arms, right? Moreover, the box is quite heavy. Okay, so you can actually go with either. You can go with heavy or large. It weighs in the neighbourhood of 20 pounds. How much is 20 pounds? The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Let's see what the wrong answer was. The contents, that's definitely wrong. Do you recall what was inside the wooden box? There was only a small bottle of pepper, wasn't there? Get on with it. Well, what's the matter? Cat got your tongue? I love how upset she is here. I don't see any relationship between the location of his head and the box's contents. I think I might have outthought myself. No, Nick, you didn't think enough. Mr. Wright, do you still maintain the box had some sort of special feature? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have had to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Okay, I love it how there's multiple correct answers because they both tie into each other. That's really cool. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Or it doesn't actually matter what we say here. I forget. I kind of forget. Nick, don't tell me you're losing your memory already. Hey, he's done it before, Maya. When Karma's slowly losing over Phoenix's shenanigans, yeah. No. Let's not get carried away. Hey, stick out your head a little. I've got just the thing. A Maya kick. Enough of that. No horseplay in this courtroom. And no kicking the defense attorney. We can't kick him, but we can whip him? According to the court record, the bust disappeared from the cafeteria. I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Oh, hang on. I just want to see the dialogue for the other one. I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. I will after I save the game. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened, once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? Using my badge. Here is the evidence that proves how he carried it. What do you think about this evidence, Miss Von Karma? What do you think about this evidence, witness? What do you think about this evidence, Mr. Wright? Oh. Here's one from me, too. My kick! Oh. And here I thought the bust was the deadly weapon. Even Maya's joining in. Now, he already mentioned that the monkey's able to lift the bust, so... Monkey! A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room? But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. Oh, burn! Call the monkey to the stand. My, those are some very nice cars he's holding. Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. What? Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait. Then you mean this bust was the murder weapon, purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? I'm a sham. You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Evidence, I'm guessing? Proof? Von Karma's whip is her equivalent to our badge. She loves shoving it in people's faces. Yes, actually! That's a good theory, I like it. Yes, if there was a Von Karma game, you'd have a whip in her inventory and you could just show it to everyone. Except she whips them instead of showing them. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Oh. Yeah, kind of forgot about that. Ah! There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let it beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were 2 people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright, after I save my game. Who was the murderer the clown saw? It was my bad. I was gonna present a lion actually, because that'd be kind of interesting. What is this supposed to mean? Yes, what is that supposed to mean? Do you mind explaining that to me as well? You're getting barraged with questions, Nick. Why is that? It's because you're on the wrong track. Oh. Badge being the murderer is a twist you never saw coming. Yeah. What if you say it was Maya or yourself? Oh, that's a good question. Let's find out. Oh, we can't present ourselves. We present Maya, though. Oh. Let's try presenting Von Karma. It was you! Oh, I was hoping there'd be some funny dialogue, but there isn't. He will. It was the bust. He saw Max's oh! I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. What if you present Max? Oh! I'm gonna try that actually. Hang on, we're just gonna back up a second. We're gonna see what happens if we present Max. Ah, oh, come on, write more funny dialogue. Oh, ah well. Listen to us all. Don't get a human-sized bust made of yourself. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What most actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off of the cards in the bust's hands. Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance to this case. Don't you agree? Dope, he caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. No worries. Yeah, I like checking little possibilities like that. See if we get any good dialogue. Who put the cloak on the bust? My badge. I wonder, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Didn't the defendant wear his cloak the entire time he was at practice? So then how did this person get a hold of the cloak? Well... Furthermore, how would this person have gotten the cloak onto the bust, I wonder? Because this person was not spotted at the scene. I love how they're referring to my badge as a person. Hey, Counting Kittens, welcome. I'm sorry. When she's so nice about telling me I'm wrong, it hurts even more. Oh! The famous Von Karma carrot and whip approach. I like it. Faked him out. No. So I think this is... I mean, this is kind of a weird jump in this logic, but hey. Fool! Him? You are saying it was the victim himself? Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust? Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have a handle on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust, and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room, and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognise him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. Ah, get it? Get it? Yeah. Zote always puts it the right way. Zote has a way with words. I love your Zote sayings, King Polly. They're so good. They're so good. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim, you wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because, in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro. It could only have been you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So? What now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? What is evidence? What is evidence, anyway? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. With my whip, and my gavel, and my badge! Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there is still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get out of this jam. Save the game. Yeah, Maya's got some great expressions, hasn't she? That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unravelled the trick to this magic case. Try again. Oh. If they had been silent for 2 more seconds, I would have screamed. I'm guessing it's the hat, because it explains why the hat was found at the scene, but Mo also saw him wearing the hat, because the bust has... Yeah, the hat is part of the bust. That explains it. The problem is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were 2 contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? I think I might use that as a thumbnail, actually, that's pretty good. Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of. Fine, you've got one. But what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. Oh. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course. I can explain all of it. Alright. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Ah, okay. Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Ah! Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. It also explains why Mo was adamant he got a glance of his face. Because the bust has the face. Hey Alyosha. How are you? Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Nope. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honour, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster, and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. Me too, actually. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. After recess. Yay, we get to play on the playground. Yay. The argument is still circular, but now the path into it is close to complete. Yeah. Maya didn't need a motive to be arrested twice. Yeah. Poor Maya. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. Very good. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. And I'll get some more water and stuff and all that. And let's see. Where's the music? Gotta have music for you. Hey Nero, give us some music. And yeah, that'll do. Yeah. Alright, I shall see you soon. Hi everyone, I'm back. Alright. How's Cleo? She's comfortable on the bed. Being a snob. Yeah, she's being a snob today. I wish I could have a cat cam, but there's no cat. Sad. I cry. Yeah, I do remember how this case turns out, because I watched the first season of the anime. So I remember a lot about things here. When we get to the next game, though, that's going to be interesting, because I have not watched Season 2 of the anime. So I haven't played that game for about, well over a decade. So I don't really remember what happens in those cases. Anyways, onwards. Onwards. So this is probably the final segment of this case. Let's see, here we go. You're just thinking about how different Scooby-Doo would have been if it were about murder mysteries. Yeah, actually. That would be a very different tone, wouldn't it? December 30th, 2:17 PM. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. I can't believe it! Acro? It's pretty shocking, isn't it? It definitely is. And to think he was always the most straightforward of the group. Jeebus, am I that hated? Oh. Ahem. Who's this gonna be? Ahem. Ah, I guess it was just Nick ahemming to himself. Acro tried to pin the murder on you on purpose. He did? Okay, who is this? But I'm nothing but a little old nobody, you know? But you're not, which is kind of the reason why... Cough! Hey, pal! You're gonna ignore me after I went to all this trouble to bring you some evidence? Ah, Detective Gumshoe. Ah, forget it. I'm going home. This guy deserves to be guilty anyways. Alright, there's our thumbnail. Thank you, Gumshoe. I'll probably recognise the murderers. Probably? I don't really remember the cases. But once we start playing them, I'll probably remember who the murderer was. His fake eyebrows are falling off when he cries. Oh, really? I didn't notice that. Now, detective. I'm sorry. Look, why don't you relax a little? We've got some really tasty milk. How about a card trick, detective? Well, if you insist. Now, about that evidence you mentioned, what is it? Here you go. Huh? This was yesterday in Acrobat's room. Yep, and I've included the forensic results. Take a look at it later. Won't Miss Von Karma be mad that you're doing this? That's why this is all a secret. Oh, Gumshoe. Getting a spine. Huh? Look, details are on a need-to-know basis. We're not really allies or anything. But everything that's happened in court up until now has gone according to our plan. Our plan? I don't know. Miss Von Karma didn't seem in control of things in there just now. You'll figure it out eventually, pal. Yesterday, our final plans were set into motion. Final plans? Uh-huh. That reminds me, I've got a message from the prosecutor for you. Nothing is ever truly decided until the very end. That's it. And that's it for me too, pal. I'm out of here. Yeah. Gumshoe being mysterious. What did he mean by that? The very end part? I'm not sure. It was all pretty cryptic to me. Oh, one more thing. Don't scare me like that. It looks like there's a large care package from the circus for the defendant. What? For me? It's milk. The reception area looks like some kind of dairy. So hurry up and drink it all before it spoils. An entire dairy's worth of milk? For me? Having fun there, Alyosha? This is why you don't treat your co-workers badly? Yeah, exactly. Whipped him one too many times, and now he's doing some scheming, apparently. 2:27 PM, courtroom number 2. Court is now back in session. Miss Von Karma, please continue from where you left off. I'd like to continue with Acro's testimony, starting with his relationship to the victim. Okay, hang on, let's take a look at this scarf. Yeah, there you go. Small quantity of pepper. That scarf, stained with his blood and a small quantity of pepper. No worries panicking. Enjoy your food. I'd also like to get proof from the defense. Proof of what kind of motive Acro would have to commit this crime. Understood. Now, Mr. Dingling. Yes, Your Honour. Please proceed with your testimony. Finally, we get to the motive. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Just do me a favour and don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Oh. When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. That's when the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Russell Berry, took us in. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. You're such a thoughtful young man. That's a pretty short testimony. Yeah, it's kind of cool. There's some little mannerisms that Franziska has that Manfred had. Pretty cool. As you have heard, the witness deeply respected the victim. I wonder how anyone could think that Acro would kill the man he held in such esteem. You are absolutely right. How could anyone think that, Mr. Wright? Which is why there's no real need for a cross-examination, is there? Actually, that's the question I'm trying to answer myself. Why would Acro kill the ringmaster? This might be my last chance to answer that question. No need to question him. Just move on. There's no need to cross-examine this witness. What's that? Why was the ringmaster murdered? There is no need to delve into that bit of testimony, but I know the answer already. Oh, okay. Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question. Go ahead, Your Honor. I would just like to know, can you provide an explanation as to why Acro would want the ringmaster dead? Okay, hang on, let's go back. I actually do want to cross-examine him. Of course. The defense has a right to cross-examine the witness. You're so tactless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You don't care about justice, do you? You just want to fabricate a motive. Very well, Mr. Wright. Cross-examine the witness. More dialogue. That's interesting that you can skip this completely. I'm going to guess that we're going to press him on everything and then it's going to automatically move on to, hey, do you have a motive yet? When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. We? Yes, my brother Sean and I. What? You have a brother? How old were you when this happened, Acro? I was 8 years old and my brother was 4. Your parents were very cruel, weren't they? Nowadays, we aren't bitter about what happened to us, because it allowed us to meet the wonderful people at the Very Big Circus. Nick, the judge is getting misty-eyed. He's got a soft spot for sob stories, it looks like. Ow! Whoa. No crying in court. Let's keep going. There's no crying in court! Oh, the witness may proceed with his testimony. That's when the ringmaster of the Very Big Circus, Russell Berry, took us in. How would you describe your relationship with the ringmaster? He was like an uncle, a father, and a big brother, all rolled up into one. The ringmaster and my brother were the only family I had. What about other people at the circus? This was over 15 years ago. Back then, there were very few customers coming in, so no one really had the time to look after us. They were worried about other things. But the ringmaster, he would always come see us with a laugh and a smile. What a beautiful story. That's why I was always thinking of what I could do to help. I wanted to thank him. Nick, isn't Acro such a wonderful person? I know. He seems like a nice guy, which is what makes this so difficult. So then how long have you been a performer? That sounds like a type of pie. Russellberry pie. That's really good. Russellberry pie. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. You started off as an acrobat at that early of an age? I begged the ringmaster until he finally agreed to let me do it. Ever since then, I've been in incredible physical shape. That's also when I decided to form a group with my brother. We called ourselves the Flying Dinglingberries. It's nearly a household name. Now I see why that last name is that. I've even heard of them in Germany. Liar. The point is that I wanted to be of some use to the circus. You are truly a remarkable young man. The judge keeps looking at Acro almost like a proud father. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. Did you ever have any trouble with the ringmaster? Oh! How could you ask such a thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Did you have some sort of fundamental misunderstanding of this witness's testimony? Or the heartfelt emotions contained within? You better think about this, Mr. Wright. You better think hard. Oh! Ah! No matter how you look at it, there's no way I could see this witness ever taking the victim's life. Exactly. I've been waiting for you to say that, Your Honor. Nick, I hate to say it, but I agree with them. I was trying to chase down the truth, but I ended up just looking like a jerk. I think that will be enough for now. Pondering whether or not this man would kill the ringmaster leads me to believe that. It is pretty unlikely. Exactly right, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question. And I'd like to save my game. Go ahead, Your Honor. I would just like to know, can you provide an explanation as to why Acro would want the ringmaster dead? Of course. Because Acro was a member of the Mafia, and the Mafia needed him to perform a hit on Russell Berry. And otherwise they were going to kill his brother. Now that I've come this far, there is no way I could answer, no I can't. Oh, this is going to be good. Very well, then please enlighten the court. Let's see some evidence that proves Acro's motive for killing the ringmaster. Let me just go over this one more time. This is why Acro killed the ringmaster? That is correct. I don't think the defense would mind confirming something for me. What exactly are we supposed to learn from this piece of evidence? What are you supposed to learn? Looks like you just won the award for biggest failure in court. Ouch. Biggest failure in court? That stings. In recognition of your honour, let me bestow upon you my special prize. A very important Discord message. Alright, hang on. Oh, I don't know if I can do that, Lauren. That's a bad joke even for me. I'll think about it. I'll consider. So now, what would you do, Mr. Wright? I would prefer if you hurry up and prove something. Drats. Now I'm really going to have to think about this. Give up presenting things. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. It was obvious from the start. Hang on. Load. Get my health back. Nope. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. It was obvious from the start. Your Honour, the reason that Acro killed the ringmaster is something that can't be proven. What? That's because Acro had no reason to kill the ringmaster at all. Oh! Your foolish attempts to fool us like foolish fools is so full-heartedly foolish. Did you forget? You made an accusation against this witness, did you not? I believe it was, this is the real killer of Russell Berry, ringmaster? If you want to jump to the end of things, then yes, that sounds about right. The end of things? Acro? You didn't plan to kill the ringmaster at all, did you? The ringmaster wasn't your target that night. What did you just say? I'm saying that the target of this witness's murderous plot was not the ringmaster. Because it was never his intention to kill Russell Berry to begin with. What? Maya channeled the lion and the lion took revenge. Order! Order! A bailiff, I don't care who it is. Smack anyone who's loud in the face. Twice if you must. Whoa. Whoa. Mr. Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to my court? Ow! Mr. Phoenix Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to his court? Are you attempting to imply that Acro was trying to kill someone else? That was sudden. Veg. This is- ow! My evidence! Ow! What are you doing? Ow! There's 14 more where that came from. Hold it right there. You can take your time with the other 14 later. But for now, let me see that evidence once again. Eric, I'm so scared of what will happen, I can't even move to give him the evidence. He asked you for something. Where are your manners, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I want to load. I want to load. Oh no, stop. Stop. At least I'm not whipping people. Exactly. Larry Butts is obviously the murderer. Always. If something smells, it's always the butts. Always the butts. Yeah, this fast skip is really good. Hang on, a little bit further. And save. Okay. So am I going to present who he is trying to kill? Trying to kill Regina. Regina Berry? This young girl is the ringmaster's daughter, correct? Acro, you were really aiming for her that night, weren't you? You don't need to answer that. It's a mean-spirited leading question. Her using the term mean-spirited is kind of hilarious. He could easily answer this question. If I'm wrong, all he has to say is, "You're wrong." That's it. That's it, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Enough. Mr. Wright, allow me to... Ow! The only thing allowed to interrupt me is death itself. Huh? And that goes for you too, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Show me evidence. Now! I want to know why Acro would want to kill Regina Berry. Yes, me too. I demand to see some proof. Present evidence that proves Acro was out to kill this young girl. All right, Mr. Wright. At this point, the only thing that's important is evidence. This better not be a bluff. You're not going to... You're not going to fool me, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Those two are finishing each other's sentences now. It must be the special bond between Whipper and Whipped. Well... My patience is wearing thin, Mr. Wright. I want to load. I want to load. Load, 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 load. Load, 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 load. The scarf. All right, Mr. Wright. Is this not right? Oh, that's not right. Okay. Maybe we have to... Oh, we have to present the pepper. Yeah, probably the pepper, because that was in the box. So it's directly tied to the murder. Oh, no? Okay. The lion... Oh, the note. Oh, of course. Of course. Somehow forgot about the note. Acro, you remember this, don't you? It's a piece of paper that we found inside the ringmaster's tailcoat. Inside the victim's tailcoat? How many times does the judge just repeat things that we just said? Acro wrote this note. It's ironically entitled, "To the Murderer." Its purpose was to call someone to the plaza at 10 PM. So you're saying that he called Russell Berry with that note? Yes, but there's just one little problem. Problem? Acro did indeed place this note into someone's pocket. However, that someone was not the ringmaster. You mean it wasn't for the... That's exactly what I mean. The person this note was intended for was none other than Regina Berry. Order, order, order. Mr. Wright, this little theory of yours. It's the truth, Your Honor. It isn't a theory. Simply put, Regina didn't think the note was meant for her. Which is why, the morning of the crime, she placed it on the cafeteria bulletin board. That's when her father, the ringmaster, saw the note? That's correct. The ringmaster ended up in that plaza instead of Regina. And he was killed because of that mistake. Instead of Regina. That's incredible. Remember the testimony that Acro gave us earlier today? Lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. If I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. Acro had no idea who it was that arrived in the plaza, because he couldn't look down out of his window to see who it actually was. I've got it! I've got it! Acro thought it was Regina down in the plaza. And that's when he let the bust fly. Hey, Nick? Isn't Regina listening to all of this from the audience? She is. Unfortunately, it's only going to get harsher from here. I hope Regina can handle it. Acro wrote this note to Regina. Foolishly foolish fool with foolishly foolish full ideas of foolish tomfoolery. You're so foolish you've even made me sound like a foolhardy fool. At least she's self-aware. Very well, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If you're so sure, then tell us about this line. I have conclusive evidence of what took place. Yes? What about that line? Well, if the note was meant for Regina Berry, it would mean that this note is declaring that Regina Berry is a murderer. You just don't get it, do you? What? What did you just say? The ringmaster knew what the note meant, which is why he went to the plaza, in place of his lovely daughter. Hold it right there, Mr. Wright. What is this incident that is alluded to in the note? The incident 6 months ago. No idea. No. Well? This is simple, Your Honor. If Mr. Phoenix Wright can't provide the facts for this so-called incident on the note, then there is no way to know whether this note is relevant or not. Moreover, one cannot prove any sort of motive for wanting to kill Regina Berry. Huh? Is that simple? Of course it's that simple. Nick, I thought you were going somewhere with this. This is getting ugly. All I can do to get out of this mess is I have to prove the truth about what happened 6 months ago. And then he loops us back around to the right answer. Brilliant judge, gold star. Yeah, poor judge. The judge sounds like he's barely keeping up with things. An incident occurred 6 months ago, and now I am more than ready to show this court what happened at that time. Moron! Wait, are you sure that it relates to the present case? It does indeed, Your Honor. Everything in this case has its start in what happened 6 months ago. Really, Nick? I think so. Well then, if that's the case, hurry up and tell us about it. What is this conclusive evidence mentioned in the note? It's saving my game. I know I'd certainly like to know what it is. If I can't answer that question, the judge is going to think I'm bluffing. The conclusive evidence about the incident 6 months ago is actually a badge. What? This is it? Well, I kind of figured that I'd try and get rid of evidence I didn't need anymore. He tried to get rid of his badge? Well, from now on, you can do those sorts of things at home, on your own time. Oops. Please present this conclusive evidence, Mr. Wright. I'm almost to the big climax of this case. Which means that, no matter what, I can't mess up again. Load my game. Hey Toshiku, welcome. The poor prosecution's desk, yeah. Well, the poor defence's desk as well, because Phoenix loves to slam his hands onto it. Yeah, it's gonna be the scarf. It's gotta be. What? This is it? Oh, it's not? Really? Okay. Okay. I guess it's the lion then. You have to go now? Okay, no worries, Magnolia. have a good day. Hey, Sanatukai, welcome. A reference to their other titles. What is? Sorry, I missed it. Try the lion. No, that's not it. Okay. Resident Evil inventory management. Oh, yep. That is pretty funny, actually. A photo of Bat. Okay, I'll try the photo of Bat. No. Okay. Pepper? Yeah, it might be the pepper now. Ah, okay. I feel like any one of those four represented should have been it. But, yeah. Achoo! 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 What kind of spicy joke is this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Yeah, they wanted me to present the pepper specifically because it would make the judge sneeze. That's pretty silly. Imagine if you couldn't save scum in this game. Yeah, that would suck. They're asking for the conclusive evidence the note alluded to, which can only be the pepper. So I thought it was the scarf, because that's the conclusive evidence of the what made the lion. Yeah, anyway. It isn't a joke at all. It's the decisive evidence you asked for. What do you mean? Recall that the victim was trying to take the wooden box away with him. He was doing so because this piece of decisive evidence is what was inside. Another unbelievable conclusion. Very well, Mr. Wright. So what exactly are you saying? Are you claiming Regina Berry killed someone with a small bottle of pepper? Taking the note into account, that's the only logical conclusion you can draw. Foolish fool who never tires of his own foolish ways. If you're so sure, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then answer this question. Yes, after receiving a game. Who was Regina Berry's intended victim? Wait, what? Okay. I guess we present that. She didn't. Okay. Who is this? That is Acro's younger brother. What does this prove? His younger brother isn't dead? Technically, that's true. However, Bat has been in a coma for 6 months now. It's not a stretch to see how Acro could feel that his brother is dead. Regina? She did that to him? Do you spend your entire life dreaming up new ways to be a fool? Naturally, the prosecution has looked into Acro's brother, Sean Dingling. 6 months ago, he was bit by a lion and fell into his current comatose state. A lion? Miss Regina Berry is an animal tamer by trade. However, no tamed animal in that position is ever trained to attack another human. They wouldn't understand the command. Moreover, Miss Regina could never do something like that. It's just not in her. He pepper sprayed the judge. So then what happened to Acro's brother? He's not the victim of an attempted murder. He's the victim of an accident. I see. Now what do we do? No one seems to be going along with your theory. Do you think what happened to Bat was actually an accident? So... yeah, it was an accident. I suppose it was truly an accident. It's essential that a man knows when to give up, Mr. Phoenix Wright. It's impossible to prove Miss Berry's involvement in a murder attempt, isn't it? Instigating a lion to attack? Who ever heard of something like that? And to think that the defense claimed this was conclusive evidence. A small bottle of pepper. A lion. What's their connection? Ah! And now he forces us on the other path. What's the matter, Nick? I figured it out. Wow, it was right in front of my nose the entire time. Ah! Your Honor, wait. What is it? The lion biting Bat was no accident at all. What? You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. There is no way that Regina would ever incite her lion to attack another human being. She may not have incited the lion to attack another human being, but she did save her game. But Regina is responsible for making the lion bite Acro's brother, Bat. Fetch. That joke was a little on the nose. Nick, you sure you want to go with that? Huh? How exactly does this evidence prove the reason Leon bit Bat? You don't think that there's something better you should present instead? I'm still waiting on that piece of evidence, Mr. Wright. Oh, I'm gonna have to think this over some more. You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Say you scumming? Now it's the scarf. Yeah, they wanted to talk through things in a specific order. That's just a scarf. Acro? This scarf is something that Bat used to wear, correct? That's right. And who is the one that gave this scarf to Bat? Regina. Regina gave it to him. Regina? There is something more than just blood on this scarf, Your Honor. And what might that be? Pepper. Pepper? Pepper. Regina gave this scarf to Bat right before the accident, and she covered it with as much pepper as she could. Hey, what's with the silent treatment? Oh, we're getting attacked by a bird again. Excuse me, Mr. Wright. You've done a good job of fingering a criminal. I'm sorry, what? But out of curiosity, what was her crime? Miss Berry gave a pepper-covered scarf to Bat as a present. Where's the crime in that? It still seems like the judge just doesn't get it. Mr. Phoenix Wright? Wasn't it said that the lion seemed to be smiling? Smiling? The lion was smiling? Yeah, who wrote this case? That's an interesting choice of words they picked. Right before Bat was bit by the lion, for a moment the lion's mouth changed and it looked like he was smiling. Lions smile? I've never heard of them smiling, however. Lions sneeze. Leon wasn't trying to bite Bat at all. In reality, all he actually did was sneeze. He sneezed because of all the pepper on the scarf. What? You fool! You've got to be kidding me! So yeah, I actually like this twist that it wasn't the lion's fault at all. It wasn't the lion's intention. Yeah, not respecting animals, that's the thing. The poor lion got blamed for it.
Objection!
What's the matter, Miss Von Karma? I object for objection's sake. Mr. Phoenix Wright, this theory, you believe it? You really intend to say that this is how this joke of an accident actually happened? Of course I do. It's the truth. The lion sneezed due to the pepper, and that's when Bat lost consciousness. Acro nearly lost his brother due to this accident, or this joke, as you put it, which is why he tried to get his revenge against Regina. He also lost the use of his legs in the accident as well, because he tried to save his brother and the lion panicked. You foolish idiot! Huh. It almost does seem like a terrible joke, doesn't it? Once again, I'm impressed by your imagination, Mr. Wright. To think that there's someone who treats this accident with the respect it deserves. Are you telling me that what I said was true? Acro? You can't mean... Witness? Are you confirming the defense's claim? Mr. Wright, unfortunately, your imagination is not enough to find me guilty of murder. What do you mean by that? The pepper, the scarf, the lion... I see where you're going, but it's a bit hard to swallow. Not to mention the fact that there's an even bigger problem with your theory. What would that problem be? The same problem it's always been. Evidence. If I dropped Max's bust on top of the ringmaster... Where is the evidence that proves that claim? You mean the conclusive evidence? The biggest problem is the murder weapon, or the lack thereof, to be more precise. The murder weapon. The bust that the defense claims was used. If that were to be found in Acro's room, and if it was covered with the victim's blood, that would be awfully conclusive in my eyes. Yes, it would be. The bust. Nick, you've got to do something! This is the last step. If I get this one right, the case is won. Save the game. And which one do we want? Let's see how things work out. It might be worthwhile to search Acro's room, but why aren't you going to search his room? It looks like you finally figured things out, didn't you? Now you know the true meaning of Von Karma, total justice. I guess... I figured with you, that's the least I should expect. You'd leave no stone unturned. Von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We already searched Acro's room yesterday. What did you find? Hang on. I guess they both lead to this spot. Search his room! The defense requests to search the room of the witness, Ken Dingling. What is it now? It looks like you still haven't figured things out, have you? By now you must know the meaning of Von Karma total justice. You mean? Von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We already searched Acro's room yesterday. And then we miss out on friendship points with Von Karma. Oh well. Von Karma total Apollo justice. So he drops me as ghost onto the victim. Do bats have noses? Probably. I don't know though. Probably. What did you find? There's no reason to even say it. If we found what you think we found in that room, Acro would not be here as a witness. But to put a point on it, Max's bust was not in the room. The murder weapon is still unaccounted for. You see, Mr. Wright, the bust wasn't in my room. Furthermore, Detective Dip Gumshoe executed the search by complete surprise. And we took Acro directly to the prosecutor's office after that. End of story. Just wait a second. Something's funny about all this. It looks like you lack the final nail to put into my coffin. But, what about the scarf? What about the note? What about them, Mr. Wright? No offense, but the only evidence that is relevant here... is that which pertains to the death of the ringmaster. You should know that by now. Ah. Do something, Nick. Don't let this case slip away. The bust. Where is it now? Where's the bust right now? It's in my save files. You're Phoenix Wright. You know where that bust is. I'm sure you do. Aw, the faith she has in us. Aw. Maya's great. There's not even a single clue. How am I supposed to know where the bust is? It seems this case is coming to a close. The defence's counter-arguments look to have fallen short. Thank you for your support. Ugh. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I think that brings to an end the cross-examination of this witness. Is Mia going to bail us out? Where is Max's bust? The defense needs time to prepare to present its case. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous and I just bit my tongue. Aw, Maya. Aw, she's great. Huh? What? We need time to do what? Ow! Why are you the most surprised person here? She's your aide, isn't she? Do you really have a case to present, Mr. Wright? What? Are you asking me? The rest is up to you, Nick. Good luck. Hey, wait. You can't be serious. Acrobats always have their lives on the line, don't they? That's how Acro's lived his life up until now. Now it's time for us to walk across our own tightrope. If we don't, we're certain to lose. Very well. The defense may proceed. He doesn't have a clue, and I don't think he'll be finding one anytime soon. Walking the tightrope of logic, there's no room for a false step. Sink or swim, the only way through is forward. The murder weapon. Where is Max's bust now? It's in the lodging house. I mean, I know where it is, but yeah. There is no doubt in my mind. The bust is somewhere around the lodging house. You don't say. He'd better not say. In fact, allow me to be even more specific as to its location. You can find it. Wow, we have a lot of choices here. Mo. Indeed, it is in Mo's room. That clown? You don't mean... Why would the boss be in Mo's room? That's simple. I couldn't think of any other rooms it could be in. Aye. Oh! Refrain from making yourself look stupid. Nick, what about where Ben and Trillo were standing? Huh. Maybe she's onto something there. We searched that room inside out, and there was absolutely no sign of a bust. Let me try again. Oh, there's a lot of wrong answers to try here. I'm gonna try them all. It's in Acro's room. She just didn't look hard enough. Without a doubt, the bust is in Acro's. Oh, let me finish. Just let me. Oh! I already told you that we searched his room from top to bottom. Prepare to taste your own tears, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The court orders Mr. Phoenix Wright to get a grip on himself immediately. I'll, go back and think things over. For a second I thought we were going to throw Gumshoe under the bus and be like, hey, he just didn't search it properly. Poor Gumshoe. That's the kind of thing Phoenix would do, though. In the plaza near the scene. It's buried in the plaza. Near the scene of the crime? And no one noticed it? How could you possibly think that? Haven't you ever heard the old saying? It was hiding right under your nose? That about sums it up. I should rethink that, shouldn't I? Yes, you should. Alright. Welcome back, Alyosha. Pearls is your favourite, seriously? Train, what is that? Of course I didn't walk here, I ran. Yeah, Pearls is great. It's somewhere in the big top. Oh, he sent the bird to attack Phoenix? Oh, I didn't notice that. That's good. It must be somewhere in the very big top. It's in the big top? Mr. Wright, where exactly in the big top will we find the bust? To be specific, I believe it is in the Ringmaster's room. Once again, you are so predictable, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough of your bluffing. The Ringmaster's room was thoroughly searched. There was no bust found. There's absolutely no way I'm wrong. I'd even stake my life on it. Oh, there's no need to be staking lives on things. Oh, and you get one too. Oh, Nick, you've got to think things over again. You're right. If I think things through, I should figure it all out. Wow, they did a thorough search of like the whole place, didn't they? It's in the cafeteria! Of course, it is obviously in the cafeteria. The cafeteria? Why would it be there? That's easy enough. It's the messiest place in the entire circus. Oh. Spare us the jokes. That reminds me. Our office is just as messy as that cafeteria. I wouldn't go that far. It's not that messy. We went over that cafeteria with a fine-toothed comb and found no sign of a bust. I've got to rethink things. Loads of dialogue. Pearl channeled Sonic for that trip. Very good. In the center ring. It is in the circus's center ring. But what is it doing there? Haven't you ever heard the saying? Have you ever heard this saying? If you like it, then you should put a ring on it. It's kind of like that. Yeah, and the bird's attacking him again. Okay, so maybe the two rings are not related? Not in the least, Mr. Wright. Alright. The last set of answers. Somewhere in this courtroom. It's obvious. The bust is inside this very courtroom. It's obviously where? Allow me to pinpoint the location of the bust, once and for all. The judge's bench. It's, what? Why did you stop talking all of a sudden? Well, I'm just not really sure if I should say anything or not because, under your honor's bench. You had to think about whether it was a good idea to say that. Grrr! What did you just say to me? That's a penalty. What's that? You want a double? Here you go. Double R. He's not happy. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. Nor is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant. This case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Billy Bob Johns. Oh, I like that they use his actual name. Guilty. Is that just an insta-lose? How much damage does he actually do, I wonder? The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at a higher court within a month from today's date. That is all. This court is adjourned. It's 4 times 2? Ah, okay. So you can actually survive it? That's pretty funny. Billy Bob John. Yeah, that's his legal name. Yeah, you get this amount. I didn't see how much the second penalty was. Only 4. Yeah, maybe you can survive it. Alright, in the courtroom. Gonna drink some water. Clearly Von Karma's in on it. I don't trust her. It's, what? Why did you stop talking all of a sudden? Well, I'm just not really sure if I should say anything or not because under the prosecutor's bench. No, you don't mean that, Miss Von Karma. Oh, oh. Nick! Get up, Nick! Proceed, Your Honor. I will when Mr. Wright opens his eyes. Nick, are you okay? Who is this girl? This is no time for me to be losing my memory. That was a good one. Wow, those two are really good ones. They were funny. Alright, the final one. Which is, of course, the right one. The right one? Get it? Oh, I wish you could say it's at the defense's bench. That would be hilarious. Alright. Acro. I'm sorry to ask this, but do you mind if I take the blanket off your wheelchair? Yes, because I'm wearing no pants. I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you, Mr. Wright. Well, you are a big guy, and you have a pretty big wheelchair because of it. I just wanted to make sure you weren't hiding anything under that blanket. Because it seems to me that it'd be really easy to say, hide a bust under there? Once again, your penchant for humour hits me where it hurts, Mr. Wright. I think it's pretty amazing that you can laugh in your position. However, your lightheartedness doesn't change the fact that the bust is under there. We all know that you can't leave the lodging house by yourself in your condition. That proved inconvenient when Miss Von Karma happened to search your room yesterday. If she had found the murder weapon in your room, it would have been all over. Which is why you had to hide it. In the only place that you could hide it. Under your wheelchair. Which is why, Acro, I have to ask you again. Would you please remove the blanket from your lap? Well done, Mr. Wright. Masterfully played. You! You fool! How could you? You've got me. I've been bagged by a real pro. Surely the blanket would only cover it from the front though, right? What about the back and side? Not sure actually. We have seen a back sprite for him. There was a point where we saw the back of his wheelchair. I forgot what it looked like. Yeah, the court murmuring scenes. What did the back of the wheelchair look like? Actually, 2 of them. 2 of them? Miss Franziska Von Karma and Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? There's just one thing I'd like to know. How did you know to launch the surprise search on my room last night? There were 2 pieces of decisive evidence. The cloak and the bust. I burned the cloak in my room and threw the ashes away with the trash. Regina always took my trash out every morning, you know. Ah, hello Coco Meows. Thanks for the host. But the bust, obviously I couldn't throw that away. When you executed your search, all I could do was try and hide the bust. And the only place that I could hide it quickly was under this wheelchair. Miss Von Karma, you had things all figured out, didn't you? I was completely sucked in by your calculated strategy. And now to be caught in the middle of court. Hiding the murder weapon. There's no way I can escape that. So you've got me. Well done, Mr. Wright. Well done, Miss Von Karma. It all makes sense now. I can't believe that Von Karma thought that far ahead. It's amazing. Uh-huh. You definitely couldn't tell by looking at her. I know I sure couldn't. I can't believe it. Me! Make a mistake. Why did I order a surprise search of your room? If only I hadn't done that. It seems we've finally arrived at the truth. Oh, she's still not particularly still not particularly interested in the truth, is she? I don't know why that was picked up by the auto mod. There's some weird things in the auto mod. It seems we've finally arrived at the truth. Acro? Yes, Your Honour. Did you kill the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Mr. Russell Berry? Yes, Your Honour. I'm responsible for that crime. The true guilty man gets caught. My mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that auto mod had been turned off at some point, so I turned it back on, and I think Twitch has changed it. And now it's got a lot of weird stuff that it's picking up. Oh, we'll see how it goes. Anyway. Acro. All my brother wanted was for Regina to like him. That's why he'd tease her. One day, my brother sprinkled some pepper on Regina. She started sneezing so hard, you couldn't help yourself from laughing. That's why Regina thought it'd be funny to get him back in the same way. And that's why she covered the scarf with pepper. I know she didn't mean for anything bad to happen. I know this. She just wanted to make my brother sneeze a few times too. But I just couldn't forgive her, no matter what. What am I truly guilty of? I'm guilty of never, ever being able to understand her. Your brother became a star. Regina believes in that so purely. That she would laugh innocently when saying it. Too innocently. I just couldn't stand it, no matter how hard I tried. That's when you decided to do something about Regina? How dreadful. So are you saying that you are a victim in all of this as well? No, that's not what I mean. I'm nothing but a murderer. That's who I am. At first, I thought I'd kill myself. Then I pondered giving myself up. But I couldn't just up and leave. I just couldn't. Not yet. Geez, suicide is a recurring... a theme that keeps getting mentioned in this game. Yeah, the tear animation didn't really translate to HT very well, didn't it? That's why I tried to pin this on Max. Max, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't up and leave yet. This has been such a strange case. It's almost a reflection of the circus itself. I'm an idiot. I can't believe it. You beat me again. I believe this case is now beyond any point of possible discussion. Thus, I'd like to declare my verdict. Not guilty. I was expecting Franziska to interrupt with a whip, because she's in shock. This court is adjourned. Well, there you go. What does automod catch? I'm not sure. It's really vague. It's like you can turn it onto very minor, minor, medium, and major. Or there's like 4 settings, but I can't find a list. I've got it set to like minor. I've got like the second lowest setting, and it still picked up something it shouldn't have picked up. So I don't know. They don't let me see a list of what they actually picks up, which is kind of annoying. Anyway. 4:27 p.m. Defendant lobby number 5. Defendant lobby number 5? Fabulous! But to be honest, I can't really be too happy about this. Acro, the Ringmaster, Regina, and Bat. Not a single one of them was a bad person inside, huh? That's a good question, and one I don't know the answer to. Many congrats, but only at max 1,000,000 of them. Thank you. What's with the vibe in this room? We're just thinking about Acro. No. If you worry about people too much, then you'll be like this forever and never be happy. Huh? What? Oh, she's been like this for a while now. What? It's all my fault. Oh, she's learning some reality. I feel bad for her. Sweetie pie. Bat and Acro, they're never coming back. Now everyone's gonna split up. Regina. Mr. Wright, tell me something. Oh, hang on. Do I have to show her some evidence? But what do you want to know, Regina? Acro said something right at the end. I just couldn't up and leave yet. Does that mean that Acro... Is he gonna try and get his revenge on me? No, he's talking about his brother. But of course he is. Yeah, he's gonna try and kill you. I think that's his plan. But what can you do about it? Holy crap. Wow. Wow. You did do something, or you did do some awfully bad things to him, Regina. Wow. You're right. He won't ever forgive me, will he? Yikes. It looks like I struck the final blow on Regina. Poor Regina. Hey, Max. Okay, I think I can load now. Yeah. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, you can't up and leave because he's still got a brother. Even if he's in a coma, he's still there. He's not going to do that to you, Regina. Are you sure? You're really sure? I can believe that? Yep. Acro doesn't have any desire for revenge anymore. If that's true, then I want to see some evidence. Okay. Now save. This case made Phoenix a dick. Yeah! Phoenix has been a real jerk, hasn't he? I remember him being a jerk next case too, but I forget how that resolves. Huh? I want to know you're not just making up that stuff about Acro not wanting revenge. Well, he doesn't want revenge because of my badge. So what about this? Now do you understand there's no need to worry? They were lying to me. No one ever tells me the truth. No one ever tells me what's going on. Oh, looks like I made a mistake with that one. Poor Regina. Luke. Nikki Phoenix, the best jerk. Yeah, the next case is really good. Evidence. Bet. Acro didn't want to get caught for a reason. He wanted to see his brother open his eyes again. Bet? That's right, Regina. He's still alive, you know. I never knew. But now that Acro's been caught... They didn't tell her that he was in a coma? Jeez. I know. What? I'll do it. I'll stay next to Bat as long as it takes. Until he opens his eyes. And then until he can meet Acro again. That's so sweet of you, Regina. I'm sorry, Acro. I'm sorry, Bat. Well, hopefully this is enough to give her a little peace of mind. Okay. That was a good outcome. Hey, Max. What is it, Mo? We really put you through a lot, didn't we, buddy? I'm sorry about what happened. So whenever you'd like to leave us, I'll pay your fee and rip up the contract. I understand. What a fabulous thing to do for me. I might even leave tomorrow. What's going to happen to the circus now? That's the big question. Our ringmaster was really an amazing person, wasn't he? Even though he's not here anymore, everyone is sticking together. The staff, the performers, no one wants to leave the circus. That's why I've made a decision. What is it? I've decided that I will take over as the new ringmaster. I'll turn this circus into the best circus this world has ever seen. The best circus the world has ever seen? Don't laugh. That's quite the goal. Yay! I can't wait! Then I guess that changes things. Huh? There's only one thing the best circus the world has ever seen needs. The world's best illusions. Which means the circus needs the best magician the world has ever seen. Max? Let's work together and make our circus super fabulous. What do you say, big guy? I don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you. Regina, you're gonna help them out too, aren't you? I don't know. Maybe the circus would be better off without me. What are you talking about, Regina? Why do you think that I brought you to court today? Huh? We've got to work together to make the very big circus bigger than it's ever been. Mo? Mo's right, sweetie pie. It can't be the very big circus without Regina Berry. Max? Nick! It seems like everything is going to turn out alright here. I haven't saved in a while, so I'm going to save. it even picks up the word... That word's fine, don't worry, Alyosha. This, I'm gonna probably turn off this auto mod, actually. It's being really super aggro. Actually, yeah, that's true counting. That does explain why Phoenix is a jerk in this game, due to the stress of what happened with Edgeworth. Yeah, don't worry, Alyosha, that word's fine. His hat mouth changes based on his regular mouth. I didn't notice that! I know, people aren't getting timed out, it's reserving people's comments for us to either cancel or approve. So it's not timing people out, don't worry. It just like holds comments in reserve and I have to decide if they're okay or not. Yeah. It seems like everything is going to turn out alright here. I can't wait to go see the best circus the world has ever seen. We'll save you the most fabulous seats. It'll take us a while to get ready, but I'm going to order special whoopee cushion seats. Just don't. Just don't. Well, he'll probably be a better ringmaster than a clown. I see. What made the case? Yesterday's surprise raid. It really paid off, just like you said it would, sir. You had it all figured out, didn't you? It was just a theory. If Acro really was the killer, I thought this was the only way it could end. Especially if he was a defense attorney. You mean Mr. Wright? Of course. Well, Detective, my plane is about to leave. As for Mr. Acro's case, you need not worry. I plan to personally stop by the Chief Prosecutor's office as soon as I get back. Understood, sir. I'll be waiting for you, Mr. Edgeworth. I like the ominous music that was playing. Bump-a-doom. Ed Ruth. What a shock, he's not dead. What? Wow, he's not dead? Whoa. Whoa. You need something you can add your own phrases to filter. Yeah, there is one actually. Yeah, there is one I can add. I just have to add everything manually, but yeah. The cat really loves listening to my streams. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's so cute. Cat in a box. Oh. I think he was wearing a coat over his jacket. I don't know. Must have been cold. And there you go. Next episode is the last episode of this game, and it's really, 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 really good. And should probably leave it there because hang on, what's the time? Yeah, it seems a bit late to start another case. We'll probably like because we'll just start getting into it and then we have to stop. But yeah, case 2-4, it's really good. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's probably a pretty long case, isn't it? Yeah. Your mum overhears you watching these streams. She thinks I sound like Australian Sandy Toksvig. Who's that? But yeah, I enjoyed that case more than I thought it would, actually. I think the first day is... But the first half of it is the worst, because you have to deal with, like, the ventriloquist, and he just sucks. I hate him. Everything about him, I hate him. The clown's pretty annoying to deal with on the stand, but I don't mind him as a character, actually. He's got more depth than just being an annoying clown. Yeah. And... yeah, I liked how the case wrapped up, and it was just actually really sad, the whole situation. Like, he, yeah, the whole situation where he accidentally killed his own father figure, like, it was just a really sad situation, the whole thing. Yeah, I don't hate that case as much as I thought it would, actually. This case will probably take 3 streams, okay. You want to watch the intro as a teaser? Okay. Alright, sounds good. Don't do like Thai Tuesday. Start last case of the 3rd game at 12 midnight. End up streaming till 6 morning. Wow. This game is just all depressing cases. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, well let's watch the intro for this one, and then I guess I can play something else until we end the stream, because I don't quite want to end yet. Host of the show QI. Okay, I'll have to look her up. Alright, we'll watch the intro. And then we'll close the game and start up. Let's finish off Mega Man 3, actually. I've been wanting to go back to Mega Man 3 for a while. Alright, but here's the intro of 2-4. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Who will be this year's Grand Prix champion? Who will be our hero of heroes? Will it be last year's runner-up, Jammin' Ninja? Or maybe Captain Saipan, all the way from the lovely tropical island of Saipan? I see the students of a certain starry school are raring to win, and Global Hero doesn't want to go home without the prize. We hope Lady Luck is with all our heroes tonight. And now, the winner of the 3rd annual Hero of Heroes Grand Prix is me! The text goes a bit too fast when it's automatic like this. It's too fast. Whoa! The true hero of the night has appeared in our midst! It looks like this year's Grand Prix goes to this fantastic warrior. The Nickel Samurai. Ah, so that's the spin-off. Too bad, Jammin' Ninja. Looks like the title eluded you again this year. I want to watch Jammin' Ninja. I don't really sound like her. Mum is just weird. Ah. Oh, there you go. Can't open my save. And there you go. We shall play that next time. Very good. I do like how you can look at the artwork of the cases once you unlock them. Actually, let's look at the first game's artwork. Yeah, I like the artwork for each episode. They used to be like, they're this shape because they're, hang on, what were they like on the Game Boy Advance? Did the Game Boy Advance have artwork? Because on the DS, like it was split across the two screens, and that's why it's like really vertical. I don't know if they had the artwork in the Game Boy Advance versions. Badger. Badger, 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 badger. Nero's panicking. Yeah, I'm going to swap over to Mega Man 3, so I'm not going to end the stream yet. Just kind of basking in the Ace Attorney glory for the moment. The artwork here is not as good, it's mainly just character portraits. There's still nice artwork though. Okay. Then there's the third game, which we haven't started yet. But yes, we'll next time we play, we'll check that out. So, I'll change over to Mega Man 3. Yeah, I'll do that as a separate VOD on YouTube and on the Twitch highlights. So if you want to see that, that's going to be separate. So thanks for watching Ace Attorney.